Alright, so get this set up over here. I'm just going to take a few minutes to get this set up. So for anyone who's joining, this is my first live stream attempt publicly anyway. So appreciate your patience while I get this on the road. I'm just going to go ahead and share on social media that we're up and running. That is not the full version of that. Let's try that again. There we go. So that's set there. Let's see. Go ahead and post to the Facebook page as well really quickly. Not sure, I haven't been getting a lot of activity here recently. I think Facebook's really trying to promote its pay us and will actually let people see your posts, but still good to put stuff there. So that way, at least if you're coming from that direction, hopefully you can find us. Let me check back over on this dashboard. I have one person here, I think, unless that's me. We'll see. We will see. So cool. All right. I think we are up and running with that. Okay, let's see. Is there anything else I need to do? Okay, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and just switch over to this. I have a million tabs open at any given time. My workflow is not exactly the prettiest sometimes. So anyway, let's see where things are at. Also, too, if you hear licking noises, too, I have 2 dogs in here, and they are a little bored. They actually got to go for a walk today. I was sick yesterday, so they were a little stir-crazy for a bit. And so they're wandering around. Nico's back behind me. You can kind of see him in that back corner. If he pops his head up. Posted pictures of him before. He's my little production assistant, and so I got him, and then my roommate's out of town right now, so I've got her dog Harvey as well. So if you see a little white fluffy cloud moving by, that's him. All right, so let me take a look. Oh, thank you. I see Madeline in the chat. Thank you, appreciate it. I'm looking forward to this. I'm glad. Thank you for commenting too, so I have something to engage with and don't feel like I'm just talking to the void. That always helps. So, let's see. Hi, Harvey. You want to say hi? Well, come here. Come here. Let's see. See, this is one of the little fluff balls, so he's going to be probably wandering around making a lot of noises. Trying to keep them in the room with me so they're not in the living room barking at our neighbors, which they do a lot. This is Harvey Poe. Harvey Poe Lovecraft is his full name. His mom's a bit of a literature nerd, in case you didn't guess. So, all right. There you go, my dude. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start setting up this session from scratch, more or less anyway. I'm going to be working on episode 7 of the series I've been producing for years and years and years, called the Elysium Project. And so this is an audio drama podcast if you're new to this, or if you just showed up because you're curious about editing but don't know what I actually do. Sometimes we get different followers, different people in here for various reasons. So Elysium is a very cinematic style podcast, so I've brought a lot of influence I've had from my background in film. I went to school for a bachelor's in film, but with an emphasis in sound design, mostly because I knew this was something I was really enjoyed doing and wanted to have the ability to pursue that as a professional career. And it's led to me getting into different things around production. I still don't do this full time as my day job. I actually work for a software company, and I largely, excuse me, and largely am working as a kind of a junior instructional designer. Most I say junior because I'm kind of learning on the job, where I produce a lot of instructional video content. I write it, do the audio for it, capture screenshots, and do a lot of tutorials. And so, but as I'm working on the job, I'm starting to get more actual experience and learn what that job entails. So that's a very interesting way to kind of broach off and use my film experience in a different way. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and pop open Pro Tools. This is what I trained on when I did go to school. Actually, the very original version of the Elysium project was mixed in Audacity, so anyone who uses that, I totally have a lot of solidarity for you if you were able to use that and didn't, and still can use that. I think it's gotten a lot better since I was using it back in the day, but it was pretty brutal. I remember one of actually this scene is the beginning of there's a it's not quite a car chase scene, let's say, but there's cars involved, and I remember working on that in Audacity and having like 13 different tracks stacked up and just going, why did I do this to myself? This was a terrible idea. In Audacity. And then I eventually moved over to GarageBand, and oh, excuse me, I just ate right before I came in. I was running a little bit late from work. But after GarageBand, and I really learned a lot of more advanced techniques there, I have since moved over to Pro Tools. So, all right. So I have some templates set up ahead of time that just use the typical layout that I usually work in. So I made one for audio drama that's probably a little bit due for updating, but Testing. Okay, there we go. All right, sorry about that. I was not paying attention to the chat. I apologize. Sometimes Pro Tools, great software. It's a needy girlfriend, though, when it comes to hogging your audio resources. So let's see. I'm going to set this up in a way where I can see that chat over there, so I'm not losing that at all. So there we go. Sorry. Where was I when the sound got off? Or if someone doesn't mind clarifying that. And then I'm going to go ahead and make sure this is over here as well, too. I'm going to make that a little smaller so I can see that in the corner. Watch my levels. Okay, Y. All right, there. That's good. Okay, so in the meantime, thank you. Sorry about the audio. So, okay, why do I have this up? I need to close things ahead of time. I was recording e-learning last night for one of my clients. Also, I apologize for the random noises from the other room to water processing. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so I've opened up depending on how much of the audio got cut off, I've opened up a template, which means I've just saved this particular order of all of my tracks and some of the plugins that I use when I am editing Elysium. And so with this, the way I have things set up is, you can see I have a couple tracks for my characters. I have a couple for Foley, and then a couple for sound effects and ambience, music, and then I have a couple aux tracks, which are basically, they take the sum of everything coming through a specific bus of audio. So what I do is I run all my characters through one bus and then put that through the dialogue bus here. And then I have an aux track that controls everything that's going in the dialogue bus. And then all of my, well, this one should be going through my sound effects bus, the Foley, because those are part of my sound effects. And then all those get summed up into my sound effects bus. So that way, if I want to adjust the overall levels of my dialogue and not have it affect my sound effects, I can adjust those levels on the bus and the aux track that the bus feeds into, rather than having to individually go and adjust the levels on all of the tracks that feed into that aux. So it's kind of this whole process is called routing, and it's kind of a delicate balance of how much work you want to do and maneuver with. So I've got buses for dialogue, sound effects. I tend to keep ambience separate as well, because sometimes that is very, very different from your typical sound effects. I also have one for music, which that one really comes in handy. I put an equalizer on here to get rid of some of the, not get rid of, but dampen just a little bit some of the frequencies that occur around the vocal range. So that way the music and the vocals aren't fighting for room in those frequencies. And it's really easy because if I apply that plugin to my aux track, it automatically affects everything that feeds into that aux track. So it only affects my music and doesn't add that effect to my sound effects or my dialogue. So that's really helpful. And then all of that ultimately gets summed together and sent to my master track here, which then feeds to my built-in output. And what I'm going to have to do really quick is just set this up so that we have a second master track, because Pro Tools doesn't like to play with this streaming. So it's kind of confusing to explain this. Basically, I'm creating a new bus that, let's see if I can do it this way. And this is going to be Right now I have 4 different channels because it's stereo. So output 1 and 2 goes to my regular output, and then output 3 and 4 I'm going to then route. I have routed to, let's see, that's going to go, let me remember how I did this because it's been a day or so. Oh, there we go. So I'm going to go ahead, double check my notes. I wrote this down, but it's a process. This was my notes on the 6 hours it took me to set this up, which is why it took a little longer to get this going. Okay, so output, streaming output out. Let's see. No, that's my monitors. No, I want that there. Audition path. It's gonna go, wait, I think. Bus 1 to 2. I'm gonna call that. I'm gonna go back in there really quick. This is super fun because it's basically saying where my different outputs are going if you want to go to different places. And a lot of time you mostly just handle this if you are you're recording with someone remotely and using like a patch, and this would be in like a fancy studio where like you need to hear what's coming on your end, but you also need to send a duplicate of that to your client, and they need to hear it full resolution, really fancy and everything like that. So let's see. So what I'm going to do is for all of these, I need to, let's see, now it's control click. Was it? Sometimes it's a little finicky. Hey, buddy. Got the dog here too. Okay, why is control click not working? That should allow me to select multiple places to send this to. Control click to send multiple output on well, I'm doing control click. Why isn't it doing that? You can hear the dogs drinking water in the background too. Okay, so part of this might be Natalie troubleshoots the streaming options in the meantime, so if you'll bear with me in the meantime. This is going to go to streaming audio, out 1 and 2. Oh, hang on. Let's see. Do I have... Just double checking. Okay, I'm using that for my playback engine. That's the sound card. And then this is there. Hopefully this won't take long. I apologize. Streaming. And this is going to go to streaming. Why is this not doing this? This is aggravating. Can I do it on a regular track? Can I select multiple? Now that's funny, because it should let me do this. There we go. Now I've got that working. I want this off. What am I doing wrong? This is the other unfortunate part of Pro Tools is sometimes it is a process of also trying to... Oh, wait, hang on. If I do it from... I don't know why it wouldn't let me... There we go. Sometimes it just decides not to work for a little bit, and that's extremely aggravating, but I think we fixed that now. Or maybe not. Dear goodness. Do I just have to click it enough? Apparently, I just have to click it enough times. That... Well, okay, that's a thing. Okay, yeah, that's a thing. So all I'm trying to do is just tell it to go to multiple different outputs because I can't just send the built-in output to the streaming device because that would be easy. Yes, I see you. I'm sorry, Harvey. I can't pick you up right now. Let's come back to that one, I guess. That one's set up for streaming. That one's set up. I cannot believe it's doing this, though. It's so funny that it's being that finicky. All right, and it's going there. That is so funny that it's doing this. I've never seen it do this before. It's so weird. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right, we'll just see where that... That shouldn't be an issue, but I just worry that it's going to double my output, and I don't want that. How about... Okay, can I do that? There we go. Put that one there. Why? This is so funny. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, you have to have it clicked when you click on it. Okay. I don't know why it's doing that, but okay. All right, so now I have this routed. I'm going to go ahead and pull in... let me close out of my different folders here. Oh, excuse me. All right, so... raw lines. So I've got all my different character audio here. Most of my actors record remotely, so I get things in all kinds of different formats sometimes and many different ways, which is always interesting to try to organize this as best I can. So I'm going to go ahead. This one I looked at earlier, and I know that when I recorded with Amber, who plays Emma, we chatted for about the first 5 minutes at least. Let's see, and we can also go ahead. Okay. Whoops. Whoops. Nico, no. No. I'll be right back. I'm just going to get the spray bottle. It just distracts them. No barking. No barking. All right. Sorry about that. Okay. So, all right. And then I'm also going to pull up this really quick too to make sure that I'm getting audio out. And then double check. And make sure that this is also coming through here, because this should have one more audio source. Audio, I think it's audio input. This is going to be streaming. Okay. And we're going to go with, which one was this? Audio input, Pro Tools, Soundflower. Okay, so theoretically this should be working already. Hang on, let me... Okay, nope. Properties. I love how this is totally making a liar out of me. Aggregate is fine. Settings, audio device 1. Audio input. Nope. Okay. Too many windows. Not enough time. All right. This is going through streaming now. Streaming audio is feeding. You'd never believe I tested this the other day and made sure this was up and running. Because I definitely did that. Specifically to avoid this. Because I didn't want to do this while I was live. Let's see. Okay. Ugh. Is this... Does sample rate make a difference? Okay, that's fine. Oh my goodness. Okay. So there's that. That's working. Playback engine. This is going through streaming audio. Let me... Is this going through? Okay, that's going through. So this should be coming through that channel. And I don't know why it's not. Hey, Harvey. Properties. This is going through Soundflower. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and quit or reopen Pro Tools. Sometimes I have to reboot this for it to, the settings to take. So we'll try that next. All right, open up that. Let's try this again. Okay, I'm getting levels here. This is going through the dialog box. This is going to both output and streaming. In the meantime, does anyone have any questions while I am trying to fix this? I can at least talk a little bit while I'm going, or while I'm testing things. This just makes me very frustrated. Sometimes I have to go to settings. Hang on. I'm just curious. Sometimes if you throw enough of these things on here, one of them works. And I don't know why. Just curious. Oh, I gotta hit okay. How long does an episode take to record for everyone? it depends on honestly just scheduling. Sometimes I can only get certain people depending. It depends on their availability, like when they can actually be able to record with me. A lot of times we're working over Skype, so we got to find time when. Let's see, so that's a duplicate. Go ahead and hide that one. So a lot of times they, it depends on when they're available to come in. We can set time aside where I'm able to work with them over Skype and talk to them and usually direct them. A few people still record on their own, but the process isn't too long. Each character, I want to say, doesn't take more than a half hour per script to get recorded. We all record separately, which is just more of a convenience thing than an artistic choice. I find it a little bit easier to manage the sessions and the people that way, and so that's typically the issue. Honestly, one of the major reasons it takes a while to sometimes get them into record is just because it takes me a while to finish the scripts. I'm really, really picky about my scripting and try to really go through and polish them and work over them a lot before they go out into the world to be recorded. So that's partially more my fault. So if you're like, oh, is there a particular actor that's the reason this isn't happening? No, that's probably more on me. I'm sorry. Let's see if I can try. What if No barking. All done. They hear the neighbors outside and they panic. Bless you.
Can you tell me who Ben is? Can you tell me who Ben is?
Oh, bless. We have audio, finally. Oh gosh, it is such a roulette trying to figure this out. Let's see. You guys can hear, could you guys hear that really quickly? Amber saying,
You tell me who Ben is? Can you tell me who Ben is?
Looks like we're actually getting some layers there. I know. There are neighbors outside and they are talking, and that disturbs you, right, buddy? Right? Hi, bud. Say hi to everyone. This is Nico. This is my production assistant and my son, who I love. He's a 2-year-old long-haired Chihuahua. So he's my best little buddy, except when he barks at the neighbors all the time. Yeah. Thanks, my dude. Awesome. Okay, so we have audio. It's only 30 minutes in, but finally got that troubleshooted. So, okay, so this is what things are going to look like. I'm going to put you down because I can't hold you and do this at the same time. I'm sorry. I know you're real broken up about that, and you just wanted to get some love and attention, right? Right? Yes, sweet man. Okay, why don't you go lay down? Go get your leather. Go get your leather. Yes. To you too. Okay. So, all right. Now that this is finally working, I want to go ahead and be able to watch those levels over there. And, okay. So, with this, I'm going to go ahead and pull that out so I can see this a little bit better. So, in the previous scene for this one, oh, why does that have that in there? So in the previous scene, if you heard the episode, we had Emma and her new companion, Ben, and they're being chased by the character Mirage, and now they tried to get away from him, so they literally jumped out a window, and they have telekinetic style-ish abilities, so obviously this isn't immediately going to be a life or death thing, but they're in the process of trying to escape. So that's where this is picking up, is immediately afterwards. The last episode ended with the big crash of them going out the window, and then this is where things pick up next. So let's see where Amber's audio leads in for that. I think it was right here.
Oh shit. Okay.
So you can hear her, it's purely recording her end, so I'm directing her, so there'll be gaps here, and then she'll make like noises where she's like, okay, I hear what you're saying, or acknowledging the direction.
Did I do that?
Okay, so that's dialogue. Let's play the dialogue.
And God, so that's what happened.
Okay, so that's more dialogue. Oh, I scrolled a lot further than I thought I did. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so like kind of like almost like a hyperventilating thing. Okay.
All right, almost there. Okay, that's too far.
Love you, girl. Great. That's right. I remember. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, so like kind of like almost like a hyper. Work the dial for. Oh yeah, sounds good. For this gasping and choking. Okay, perfect.
And then I'm following the script over here. So, this first line, gasping and choking. And I'll start doing the sound design in a bit. I actually start with the dialogue first, make sure that's in place, and I like the timing of that, and then I'll go through and start adding sound effects afterwards. So let's see here.
Thing. I can't do this. What was that? Okay. Yeah, so like kind of like almost like a hyperventilating thing.
Okay, so that's where she starts. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that. And then pull this towards the beginning. So I'm going to leave, since this is fading in. Okay, let me look at that script. So what I want to simulate here is, since they've been falling, one of the ways I tried to do some of my sound design is at least still think of it like there's a source for the audio. So that way, that source could be attached to the main character. That source could be static, like there's different camera views. But it's usually a good thing to try to think about where's the source of your audio coming from, and then making choices about how you're placing sound effects around that. So my thought process with this one is, since Emma's just leapt out this window, this is going to fade in where you're hearing you're hearing the noise of them falling, the rushing wind, and then this kind of sound as they stop just before they hit the ground, which will be interesting to design, and hopefully I can get that done tonight. Some of these take a while. And then they land on the ground. And throughout that process, Emma is kind of gasping and choking because, when you fall or you're going down like a roller coaster, you're usually like, trying to catch your breath and just hang on to that. So that's what I'm trying to gather and simulate here with the audio. So I don't know how much of that I'll need, but I'll go ahead and, oh, hi Harvey. Cut that, and then I'm going to go ahead and just slide this down the track, so that's not in my way. So the next thing is, now that I have her vocals on the track, I'm going to go ahead and, what I was originally thinking this audio might follow them as they were falling down, but I think I want it to actually start where the audio source is from the position of the ground. So we're initially just hearing like some back city alley noise, and then all of a sudden you hear a whooshing sound as they come in and land. So it starts out peaceful, and then all of a sudden, and then they just kind of lightly drop to the ground after they come to a complete stop. And then Emma's like, okay, that was not fun. So I hate heights. I don't like roller coasters that much, so I probably channeled that a bit here. Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead. I've got a whole, my computer is I'm working on a Mac, obviously, and my computer is what's lovingly referred to as a cheese grater, which is what the old desktop Macs used to look like. They're these big silver boxes, and it's kind of the next step after the iMac, which is where the hard drive and everything is actually built into the screen part of the computer. So it can hold a lot more in terms of processing power and hard drive space and everything. So this particular rig I bought, I did a very, very long audiobook and used the money from that to be able to buy this new computer, which was really, really awesome because my other computer was just progressively getting more and more just slower and getting stuck. Oh, Dragon Knight says, are they not hurt at all from falling from that height? And no, Emma has some level of telekinetic ability. So what is basically shown, and this has been demonstrated in the series a couple of times too. It's okay if you haven't listened, no worries. But what it's basically is that they can manipulate anything physical around them. So basically, the way I tend to sound design or think of these scenarios is that they're moving air around them and basically landing on kind of enough of a cushion updraft that it prevents them from hitting the ground. So there's still that falling sensation, but right at the end, it kind of pushes them up enough so that they stop falling, and then they kind of just drop to the ground after that. If that makes more sense. Let me know if that clarifies enough. But so I'm really, anyways, as I was saying, I'm really lucky to be working on this particular rig because it's a really great computer, and another engineer actually reached out and was like, hey, I'm selling this. Would you be interested? I'd be willing to, help kind of pass that on and everything. So it was very nice of him. So I actually have an entire hard drive dedicated to sound effects. It is 1 terabyte, and I have used 550 of it, if that tells you a bit about my sound effects addiction. So I'm going to go ahead and look for something. I really love this effects pack I got. I don't know if I have anything for like back alleys on this one. It's called New York Ambisonics. And so there's some really lovely audio, but I'm not seeing anything there that immediately stands out. So, oh, and no problem. Sorry, the chat just updated, and not a problem. Sometimes it's hard to keep up with some of these series, so not a problem. If you have any questions, just let me know. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and look for Alley, search particularly on that hard drive, and then see what I've got. I think I've used this one a lot of times before, and then hopefully. Now this is where things are going to get interesting, as I can't preview this in a way that I can hear it or let you hear this at the same time. So, I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and switch this over. For some reason, if I do streaming audio, it doesn't seem to like that. Let's see if it'll work now, though. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to preview this in a way where you might not be able to hear this. But okay, I don't think Allie is pulling up anything. I'm gonna go back here and start looking at some New York Ambisonics. Also, Dragon Knight asked why I decided to redo the Elysium project from the first one. If some of the newer listeners may or may not be aware of this, I actually started the Elysium project back in, 2009 summer of, and I came to it not really knowing what I was doing at all, other than I wanted to make an audio drama and I thought it would be cool. And I wanted I think I was more ambitious than my engineering skills currently allowed for. So, and also at that point, I didn't know a whole lot about adaptation, especially because the original story was a novel I had written for the previous year's National Novel Writing Month. I hadn't even gotten through and done it, like, even a cursory edit on it. So it was not the most. I probably should not have done this project, especially because at the time I think I was planning on doing, oh goodness, I think 10 seasons. Well, at that point, each season was only going to be like an hour-ish long. So it was a very truncated version of the story, and I just kind of directly just copied the novel pages onto or into a script format, and then just took out all the description. I was like, yep, the dialogue that's there, that'll work fine. And it didn't. I don't recommend doing that if you're a writer and considering podcasting. Working with prose and working with scripts are two very, very different things. So there was a lot of issues where I didn't think, especially looking back, there was a lot of random plot holes and gaps and a lot of characterization that was very goofy and didn't seem to make a lot of sense. And by the time I got to, at that point, season 2, I spent most of season 2 trying to fill in the plot holes I had created from my poor adaptation of the first season. And then by the end of it, I just wasn't really thrilled with the results. And at that point, too, I was going to get my degree in sound design. And I really wanted to launch the series in a way that was able to showcase my current abilities, and it clearly didn't. A lot of people were starting from the beginning and were like, I have no idea what's happening. And so after doing some soul searching and looking into things, I decided to reboot it completely and start over from the beginning. And I'm really happy with a lot of the choices I made to do that. Cleared up a lot of issues. There's still stuff I feel like I could fix and I want to fix. Maybe I'll have like a definitive edition eventually that I can be happy with and let it die. Working on this season has just been a process. But if it got popular enough, it'd be really nice to be like, hey, I can actually afford to make my polished definitive edition. But in the meantime, you're getting more or less the 90+% vision I have now versus the maybe 30 to 40% it used to be. So we're a whole lot closer than I was. And thank you. Yes, I do remember the original fondly for all its charm. It was kind of one of those campy, almost B-movie things I look back on where I was like, oh boy, that was fun, but not for all the right reasons. Yeah, so that's kind of my thought process. Really quickly gonna preview a few more things. Nope, that's not gonna work. I'm trying to find something that has some distant traffic sound, but it's not too present, so that way it sounds like it's coming from an alleyway. Okay, I might have to do some blending. So right now I've got this sound. It'll take a second to load into the session. That's a nice longer ambient sound, so about 6 minutes. Oops, this slides around. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw a fade on there, and then usually these are a little loud, so these are going to, so I usually start with these a little lower, and then that comes in. And then amber is a little soft there, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. So you can hear her there. So still a little loud. The noise is still, the traffic noise is still really close. So I think I need something that, something that gives the atmosphere without traffic. Let me see what I've got here. Okay. There's too many birds there. I want kind of that city rumble without a lot of close-up type noise. Like, especially if you hear, like, people walking by or talking, this might work. That can be really confusing because you're like, why am I hearing this? So one of the things I also do with audio drama is I do try to think about blocking, which is a theater term, which basically means where you're going to place certain characters in the scene and how they will move around. And one of the ways you have to do that with audio drama is it's very hard to change perspective of sound really quickly because you don't have a visual cue like you do with film. And film typically can get away with just having some different, with different perspectives and quickly changing things. So if you look at one character and there's traffic behind them, you're willing to accept that the traffic suddenly gets louder whenever you have a camera angle facing them. And then if you switch around, then that gets softer when you're facing the opposite direction. So with audio, because you don't have those visual cues, it's a lot harder to do that. So I try to think of it from more of a theater perspective of what is the good main angle that's going to work for this. And so what I'm probably going to do is imagine they're in an alley between two tall buildings, basically. And to the, I gotta think how I want to do this. All right, I think traffic in the street is going to be to the left. So what I'm going to do is the sound that has a lot more traffic present, I'm going to go ahead and pan that off to the side a lot. And so that way the noise or the ambient that doesn't have as much of the traffic noise to it, that's going to stay in the middle. And then we're going to hear the traffic basically coming mostly from the left side. So let me hear how that sounds. Okay, I want that. That's still really loud. Okay, good. Okay, I like that. So that's where, this is kind of going to be my baseline then. All right. And this will probably be something I'll tweak. Oh, hi, Story Bake. I'm assuming that's Podcake. Michaela, I'm assuming. Let me know if I'm wrong. But hi. Let's see. Okay, so sliding around here. So now that I've got my ambience in the background and I have an idea of where the perspective is going to be, oh my goodness, hello. Hi, we have opinions. Yeah, what are those opinions today? Say, Mom's at a conference 2 hours away for teaching, and I'm lonely. I'm so lonely, right, Harvey? Yeah, you're crying, buddy. Oh, sweet man. You're fine. Oh, hi, Beelman. Okay, never mind. Hi. All right, so, okay. Let's see if he'll sit on my arm like this. He might just do that. Sometimes they're weird like that. So the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and try to come up with the sound of them falling. Now, one of the things I've wanted to play with for this idea is, bless you, is I just got this new plugin I'm really excited about. It's called Turbine, and it basically simulates the sound of different like engines and thrusters. So if I turn this on, I can go ahead and typically use this, and I want to try to factor this effect in there at some level. I feel like that'll really get the type of character I want for the sound of the audio kind of growing in intensity as they fall. So this is such a cool plugin that you can like decide how much of it's on. You can eliminate, like if you, let's see, want to get rid of the burn level, you can also change the angle. And so there's a couple different things. You can change different parameters. It's such a neat plugin. I love it. But let's see, I'm going to go for I think probably going to look at something else. Let's see. So this one might be a little bit of me playing around with some different sounds and just seeing what might fit. Might fit this different, or what I'm going for. It's a little too hollow. I don't know. Is this picking my presets that? Oh, there we go. I gotta load this. Gotcha. Sorry about the volume. All right, let me try that. Nope, that's not gonna work. No problem. If anything is hard to hear or too loud, let me know. Okay. It's not quite what I'm going for. Industrial, let's try. Okay, that's got more of the airy quality I'm going for. Nope, that's a little too robotic sounding. Okay, so I think this might be what I'm looking for. Okay, and that, I'm gonna go ahead and turn this down a bit too. Okay. The higher you get up, that sounds too robotic. This is like this works really good for like, if you need, what are they called? I'm spacing on the term, like little mini robots, basically, servos. So I'll be having a lot of fun playing around with this when I get to designing Kate's mechanical arm, which was the main reason I bought this. So let's see. The dogs are playing, so you're gonna hear them probably growling around a little bit. They're funny. Let's try that. What I'm trying to get is, I really like this thrust feature because it increases the intensity. And so I think I'll probably be using something along those lines. That's too much. Not getting enough of the character I want out of that. a little bit more. Yeah, I like that one too. Okay. So... yeah, that's what I want. I'm wondering if there's a way I can get that, like, high-pitched noise. There's kind of like a mid to high tone. There we go. There we go. I think that's the sound I'm going for. Okay. So basically the way this works then is I have to take some of the parameters with this and then go ahead and automate it, which basically means have Pro Tools control it for me. So is this simulation? Okay, simulation on, thrust. Okay, so basically what that's going to look like is that as long as this line, this is basically an on or off state. So as long as it's up, it means the sound is on. And then as soon as I pull this down at any point, you can see as soon as that hits, the plugin turns off because that's the master bypass. And as long as I have this window open, we'll be able to hear it. Theoretically. What am I hearing now? Huh. Okay, so that's not the only thing. So simulation is on. Oh, that's not the one I wanted. That's why. Okay. Thrust, remove that one. See, the other thing that's cool about this is the thing I love about this one, is if you go over to this tab, I can drag this thing around. And you can hear that thing fly by and in and out. Such a cool effect. Love it. And that's what the simulation thing is on. So I do want that on. And we're going to start from over here. Okay, this is one I haven't used a whole lot yet, so I'm trying to figure out the best way I want to do this. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go ahead and select all of those and just put them on here. My goodness, these two have been so lazy all week, and then as soon as I'm recording and doing stuff, they're rolling around and wrestling. So, alright, so the way I'm going to have to do this then, this is very different than I thought it might work. Huh, okay. So I want to have that, basically that effect, or, let's see. Along those lines, that's what I'm looking for. So that's the sound I'm going for. But I don't want to have to record every single one of these little things separately. But I think I'm going to have to. Okay, that's not the end of the world. Oh, hi, Emily! He's right here. Let's see. Nico. Aunt Emily wants to say hi. Nico, come here. Oh no, he's sulking now. Now he doesn't want to come. Thanks, Nico. Thanks. Nico, come love your mother. Come on. Come on. Harvey wants to say hi. See, Harvey loves me. Harvey loves me. Harvey wants to say hi. Say hi, Aunt Emily. Hi. Yeah, you're a little royal disaster and attention hog. So alright, there you go. Go play. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and remove those right now, and then okay, I do want thrust. So basically I'm trying to figure how much of this I need to be able to customize all the little settings, because it has to be done a very specific, or because I can't be here to always turn this on and off. This is a very unique plugin. Most of the time I'm just using sound effects clips, but this one, since you're kind of doing it in real time, gets a lot more interesting. Okay, so I do know I want to use thrust. I'm going to start with that for now, and then go ahead and put master bypass on there as well, because, alright, so if they hit the ground, about here is where I want them to hit the ground. So I'm going to go ahead and put a line there so I know where that is. Now simulation needs to be on. So the master bypass is where I want that to totally cut things off. And that's where I'm going to have whatever the sound effect of them landing. So I'm going to put that, and then I'm going to go to thrust, and I want that thrust by the time it hits this point to be up a lot further. So now if you go ahead and play this back, you hear that go up like that. Except I want that to be a little more dramatic. So I think I'm going to have it like fade in where you don't hear it at all. And then all of a sudden, like that. We're going to go ahead and pull this volume up a little bit more so we can actually hear that. Not that much. Let's try that. That's still going too fast. I might have to move that back a little bit. Go ahead and get rid of that memory location. Delete that one. So if I have pause from it. Alright, and then that needs to be able to go about here. I think it needs to be that. That's going to be, and then I'm going to go ahead and add position X and Y there so I can track this. So position Y, I'm assuming, is going to go like that. Okay, so that's as far away, and then that's at the bottom. Okay, so, alright. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm just tracking where this little triangle that represents the sound is. So I basically want them to start here and end here, so that way you get that you get that distance to proximity effect. And this is where I needed to put more memory locations down. Whoops. Okay, put that there at the beginning. This is the end. Alright, so position Y needs to start here and end about in the middle. There we go. Wow, okay, that's really delayed. Why is that really delayed? Is there a delay on this? Okay, that could be related to the decay. Let's see. Mix. I do want that. So why does it... That's so weird. I wonder what the life... Is that... That's interesting. See, I'm learning this as I go right here. So it's kind of interesting to see how this works and how it's deciding to kind of come in and out. And let's see. Okay, that's the zoom there. Yeah, it does sound spooky. There's definitely some stuff we could do with that, I'm sure. Let's see, maybe if I turn the decay. Oh, that's why. Okay, it's trying to start from there, and it's taking a while to catch up. Interesting. Okay, so that's just where that goes. So I might have to literally have it be like this then. Okay, yeah. So that's what I'm trying to do. Okay, I might have to back this up even further though. And then I also need to master bypass this off here, so that way we're not hearing that as soon as we get caught, or as soon as we hit the end of that. So let's do position. There we go, that's more of the effect I'm trying to get. Want that to go. I'll be putting in a sound for when they land, basically, to try to make that sound a little cleaner. And I need that to be louder. Let's see, we're gonna go ahead and increase that a bit, or no. Okay, so we actually do want that to go out further. Okay. And then if I change the track volume on that, will that also do? Let's see, let's try that. There we go, that's more the fake. There, okay. Yeah, you will hear the engine effect in there a bit. I do have the ability to play with that a bit more, so I'm sorry if that's a bit loud. I'm trying not to drive you guys crazy here. Let's see. And yes, Emily, I do have that. That is what this plugin is. It is one of the coolest things. It was one of those things where I was like, oh no, I probably shouldn't be throwing money at this, but I'm totally throwing money at this. There we go. That's what I want. Okay. But I still want that. This is a lot of what this is a lot of process too, is that you're taking a lot of time to fine-tune this. Oh, that's too... I have to pull that out. What is getting cut out so much then? Oh, did I? That's my bad. Okay, I need to not have the volume go down there. Okay. So I want it to go. Sorry, it's loud, I know. Almost done. Okay. Something along those lines, and then that will be where the volume starts to go down. there's that. I want this lower. Okay, thrust. I want to push that even further. Let's pull that back here. Okay, cool. All right, so I may return to this later, but for now I think that gives me the base effect that I want it to work with, where, again, it's got a lot of that. That's the falling, essentially, where you kind of get the sense that they're coming from a distance, then all of a sudden right on top of you. So, all right, from here, though, I want to have a type of a hit effect where when they actually make it to the ground, and then there's some kind of like rumbling, kind of intense, very visceral kind of effect. So that's what I'm looking for here. So I'm going through a few of these. I've got this. This is a pack called Cinematic Darkness, which has some really good low impact. So, like, basically this is kind of what I'm looking for. I don't know if I'll use this one specifically, but so you can hear where I'm going with this. Oh, this is going to be fun. I need to see where that master bypass is coming in. I think, no, let's do the volume. Okay, so this is basically the effect I'm going for. So in a very unpolished form, that's what we're going for. Okay, I don't know if I want that. A couple different versions. And I usually add a couple different layers of stuff like this, but this is what I tend to put as kind of like my baseline for this. And it does sound like an emo band name. Let's see. And then I want that volume to go down pretty much considerably right about here. There we go. So a little bit more of that type of an effect. There we go. And I might pull that volume up just a little bit more, give that a little more intensity. No, not like that though. There we go. There, that gets us some nice intensity. Oh, that's why that's going. Okay. There. Okay. Happy with that. So there's that. I also want to have some kind of like a more airy sound to it, so we still get there's some wind to it as well. Let's see. I'm gonna see if I can find cinematic hit. Usually has a really. Let's do wind. See what I can get. Super fun when you want wind and you get all the wind effects and all the window effects too, which I totally love. That's kind of a horror sound, not quite what I'm looking for. All right, so what I like about this one is that I'll only use a little bit of it, but it gives it kind of a nice broader feel. Like that hit that I used is a little, sorry about that, is very punchy and very close, and I want something that goes a little bit broader and wider, so you get kind of that sense there's like I'm going to add some stuff in there too where you get kind of like the dust flying around them, and you're hearing like some gravel moving around and stuff. So see, I also want this to fade out over time. That is aggravating. I'm going to turn that off for a minute. Let's see. So that would only start once I get here. Get about there. I'm just going to fade that in just a little bit. And then let that fade out for a bit. There we go. So that's doing a nice thing. And I actually want to simulate how the direction of that's going to go. So I'm going to start with that in the center and then have that spread out. So again, you get that sensation that it's going out to the sides. Pull that in even more. Probably need that to be a little quicker though, so you really hear that. There we go. And this one probably needs to start again, since that one's in closer. I'm gonna go ahead and put that about. And this is just panning it, so this one feels like it's coming more from the center than it is from out to the sides. There we go. So that's starting to do some nice stuff. There we go. All right, and then I want some nice, and I'm adding a couple more sound effects tracks because I will need them. All right, so sound effects 4, sound effects 5, sound effects 6. And we're gonna all send these to the bus so they all are coming, or so I have control over them before they go out the main, or in one place before they go out the main output. I'm gonna go ahead and close this because that takes up a lot of room. And make sure those are color coordinated. All right, so what I want is like gravel. Let's see what I've got here. And like usually anything labeled debris is gonna get that nice crispy kind of lighter sound. There's a little, some of these have a little too much larger pieces mixed in, so I'm gonna try to get a nice, I really want to get almost like a dust. That's what I should try putting. Let's see what dust gets me. Pixie dust, that would totally work. Yeah, that's like bells and stuff. Let's see. There we go. That's too thick. All right, so I think this one will probably do what I want it to do. Let me see where I go with that. Okay, so that I definitely, I mean, Emma is a magical girl in her own unique way. she's magical for a lot of reasons. No, she doesn't have like a glittery pink costume, but she's got her own magic. Okay, I mostly like that. Want to see if this is nice. This is a nice system. Audio Suite plugins basically mean you just apply it to just whatever's highlighted, and you don't have to actually insert it into the track, where it affects the anything that puts on that track. Aw, Cube emoji. Thank you, Emily. So if I don't want to have like reverb on everything that's on track 4 or sound effects track 4, then I can just add it here. Oh, excuse me. I'm trying to figure out if this is what I want or not, and I'm not sure. Oh, that might work. I think I want... This isn't accurate to life, but sometimes when you're doing effects that are like all mixed together, sometimes it's a lot easier to put stuff that you wouldn't normally hear in that environment, but you can still put that effect on it and see what it turns out like. And that's got a little bit, just that little extra ringing, but I still don't think that's the right track, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that because that's not going to fit. Let's see, what else do I have? Because it's a little too grainy. I really want something a lot finer. This might be a little closer. And let me try having this kind of fade in. I like the idea of that kind of coming in here. I wonder if Emma coming in there. I gotta get rid of this. Let's see. She would probably come in. And that's still not quite doing what I want it to do. And another thing I'm going to do as well is for all the audio that's on that section, I'm just going to go ahead and bring that down. So that way that audio I don't need for like a few seconds there for the ambience is not fighting with the designed sound effects for control. If we turn that thruster back on, it'll sound a little more like this. And then it comes back up there. So I'm going to play around with that a little bit. See what some of my levels for that, make that a little more gradual so it's not so dramatic. There we go. I like that. And I don't need as much of that once the dialogue hits. Alright, so that is better. I like that. And also Emma's panned a little bit to the left. That's fine. Okay, like that. Moved over just a little bit there. Oh, thank you. I love I love those hits. Those are some of my favorite to use. I have to try to be careful I don't put them in everything. That's not getting that wind. I really want to have that, like, you know, when you're having a nice, you know, kind of dust where it's just like kind of thing, and you hear just a little bit of grit in there. So, I think debris is a little too hard. I think I'm going to have to go back and take a look and see what I have under wind. And it'd be really nice. Do I have anything for desert? No. Oh, thank you. I'd be lying if I said there weren't occasionally some anime influences in here. So, I, I appreciate the compliment. Thank you. Hi, I know you're bored. I'm sorry. We'll do a snuggle in a bit, okay? I know. Wheeze, wheeze. 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 I'm sorry, buddy. Oh, I'm sorry. He's mostly sad. Mom's still gone. I'm sad. I'm so sad. She's never coming back. Let's see. I know. I'm sorry, sweetie. I'm sorry. Okay. I might have to do some more deep diving for the sound I want with that one. I really want... I have a subscription to a service. Hi, Harvey. Hi, sweetie. Where I can probably look up what I want if I don't have it. Let's see. Drone desert. Nope. Still not quite what I want. Windstorm, that might... Nope, not quite. Windstorm forest, ghostly hit trees. Some of this is trying to guess the term that was actually used, or that was used, because it can be all over the place. So, and a lot of it's going through and previewing stuff. Okay, I might have to do some looking for that later, so I'm not driving you guys crazy while you're watching. So, to switch things around to probably what's a little more interesting for everyone else involved, I'm going to go ahead and start pulling in some more of the dialogue. So, there's some more sound effects work to do, but we'll take a break from that for a moment. You can definitely start to see why these episodes take a while to put together, though, because that took me about an hour to do just that. Most of that one effect, albeit I was learning the new plugin at the same time too, but it's not uncommon. Like, anytime you hear someone does stuff with their telekinetic abilities, it's like another hour of production. So I try to be a little, shall we say, I try to be a little gracious with how much I use, or try to be a little more careful with how much I use, and if I can use dialogue to communicate things in different ways. But it's like, at the same time, audio is such a cool medium where I can do these things, and I hopefully can continue to use it. So anyway, it's just fun to play around with, and I'll probably jump back to that. But in the meantime, I can show you a little bit of, yes, judicious is the word I was looking for. I need to be judicious about my use of sound effects. So all right, I've got Bosco's lines here for Ben. So let's take a look at the script. So he's out of breath, just not as badly as Emma. So let's see where he comes in.
All right.
Okay, you can hear him talking.
It's okay. We're okay. Just see if you can stand.
Okay, he's a little too far off to the side. I want her a little bit closer to him for the meantime.
It's okay. It's okay. We're okay. Just see if you can stand.
Okay, I like that take a little bit
It's
better.
okay. We're okay.
Yeah, I think that take sounds a little more natural. So I'm gonna go ahead and slide that out, get rid of that one. Also make sure to have...
We need to get out of there.
Okay, that's from the next line. Typically, I have the actors do about 2 takes, and then if I want to, if I have any adjustments, then I'll let them know. But Bosco's such a talented actor, so usually he's nailing a lot of what I ask from him within the first like 1 or 2 takes. So he didn't have a lot of stuff where we were picking things back up. And sometimes, I mean, the actors will do things that sound great, it just might not be what I had in mind, and I will ask them to do a few other things just to make sure I have coverage. So when I get everything together, I have enough different ways I can plug it in, or plug in that particular line anyway, and still get the effect that I'm looking for. So after about a minute,
It's okay.
that needs to.
It's okay. We're okay. Just see if you can stand.
I'll fade that out a little nicer. And then, fortunately, Emma's lines, or her breathing fades out, so that's not too awkward.
Okay. Oh, thank God. I'm like, oh, I'm getting dizzy. Okay, perfect.
Doing a lot of those breathing effects where you're going like, that is the easiest way to hyperventilate. It's amazing how just doing about 15 to 20 seconds of that will make you want to pass out. So if I don't have to make them do more than 1 take of that, I usually don't.
What was that?
So that's where we're picking back up.
We're okay. Just see if you can stand.
What was that? How did you...
All right, and my dialogue is very soft still, so I'm going to go over, I put a compressor on the dialogue so that way it's all controlled in one point. Compressor basically makes sure that after you hit a certain volume point, it will then start to automatically decrease the volume, depending at whatever your ratio is set to. So like if you have a 2-to-1 ratio, then it's going to decrease, basically every decibel it goes up, it's going to decrease it by 2, or the opposite. I'm sometimes a little bit, or no, every 2 decibels it's going to decrease it by 1. Nope, 2 decibels by 1. Sorry, my bad. I know what I'm talking about, totally. I'm not just pushing buttons. And yes, Amber has lungs of iron. Homegirl can scream for days, and it is amazing what she's able to do.
It's okay. We're okay. Just see if you can stand.
So we're pulling
What
that
was that?
dialogue a little bit up further. I'm usually looking in my
Just see if you
meter
can stand.
to see if, let's see, specifically I need the dialogue box.
It's okay. We're okay.
I'm usually trying to hit about that 20 decibel mark for the standard dialogue.
It's okay. We're okay. Just see if you can
If
stand.
they're not yelling, or 20 to 15 for probably regular levels. I'm echoing. That's not good. My internet might be really upset with me. My computer might be upset with me. It's always super fun when you're working with audio, because sometimes it can just go horribly wrong sometimes. So hopefully it's not. Nico, do you want to come here? I saw you move. You want to come? Harvey immediately emerges from under the bed when I say come. I think Nico's a little hot and he's sulking, poor thing. The white zone is for loading and unloading only. The moving walkway is ending soon. Gosh. I don't know what to do to stop it echoing. Why is it doing that? Stop. Trying to think what I can do to like reset that, pause that for a second. It could be, we have terrible internet here, so it would not surprise me if that's part of the reason why. It shouldn't be echoing. Why? Is it still echoing? Also, is it just my voice or is it all of the audio? Like if I play this really quickly.
It's okay. We're okay.
Is that echoing at all? Bless you for helping. Let me really quickly then, let's see what are the properties. So that's on Scarlet. Let me switch the input really quick. Okay. Does that do anything? Sometimes if you just flip that back and forth, it like resets itself. Harvey is bathing my ankles. Lick, 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 lick. Hi, bud. Let's see. My goodness, bless you. Okay. If you're willing to put up with it, hopefully, I'm not sure what else that would be. I could do with it without turning this off completely. I'm willing to bet it's my terrible internet. To be completely honest, Spectrum has not done a whole lot to impress here, let's say. I used to pay, when I was in Chicago, I had RCN. I think I paid $25 for 25 megabits download. And now I pay... Stop scratching the door! Now I pay, I think like 60 for 15, and it's terrible. I hate our internet. So, anyway, let me go ahead and switch back to this.
It's okay. We're okay. Just see if you can stand.
What was that? How did you... What was that? How did you...
Okay, so that's... So she just did 2 takes in a row for that. I'm just going to see if she did anything else really quick.
I can't...
Nope. Okay. So I like that first one a bit better.
What was that? How did you...
Alright. And then we're going to go ahead and add this next line. Need to get out of here. And then Emma's going to stumble.
We need to get out of there. We needed to get out of there. I made it happen.
Okay, so what happens is, he's saying that, and then Emma just kind of like loses her balance for a minute. I'm so sorry, Emily. It's terrible internet.
We needed to get out of there. I made it happen. Whoa. Whoa, careful.
Oh, and I left a reverb track on here. That is very lots of wet. I'm sorry, that should not be there. I'm gonna pull that back. There's always kind of like a natural, just a little bit of it on people's voices, but I'm going to pull that back. Hey, Rob. Hi. Rob plays D&D with me. He's a good dude. And he's been listening to Elysium for a while, too, and is just overall a good friend. So, hi, Rob.
How did you...
We needed to get out of there. I made it happen. Whoa.
Okay.
It happened. Whoa, careful.
Okay, so there he is catching Emma. And then, let's see, Emma comes in with... I can't do this. And honestly, Emma's kind of an interesting character to write in that sense, where I put a lot of myself into Emma, where I don't think I would be able to handle these things. I don't like just kind of automatically assuming my characters can just adapt to these things right off the bat, or most of them can't. So Emma's very much, instead of wish fulfillment, she's more reality, just grounded reality of, I'd be terrible at this. I don't think she'd be any better at this. But yes, weird echo, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know why it's doing that. I have not gotten to use that gun pack, or the firearm pack, by the way. I don't use weapons that much. A lot of my stuff I haven't had to use guns at all, so. Also, I'm still mildly not sure about how to handle the licensing rights too, so I'm a little nervous about putting that in anything I might ever have revenue attached to it in some capacity, I guess.
Whoa, careful.
Okay. I can't.
I love how she just goes from chipper
Okay. I can't.
to I can't do it.
I can't do this.
Thank you, Emily. Oh, they were laughing that I sound like the robot, or the white zone is for loading and unloading only. This is my default AI voice that gets used constantly. No, I honestly, Rob, I think it's my terrible internet, which I was just mentioning. It's pretty garbage. I tried resetting the input as well. That helped a little bit, but it's still doing that. I don't know. Yeah, it's Microsoft, Natalie. Watch out, Siri. I'm coming for you. Let's see. Did I get?
Oh, sure. Okay. I can't do this.
Okay, so you can see her delivery changed a lot, where she's a little more.
I can't do this.
Where she's a little more, kind of nervous, and I wanted her to be a little more panicky.
Thanks, Justin.
Oh.
You're fine.
Justin, who plays Ian, he was engineering this for her, or rather keeping control of the dial, so that was funny.
Okay. I can't do this.
Okay. So I want that there. She's going to stumble a little bit. I'm going to give her a slight pause.
Oh, careful.
Just got a little bit of a breath in there, so I'm going to do that.
What did happen? Whoa, careful.
I can't do this.
Alright, so. And then Ben is kind of urging her on. No, we have to keep moving.
No, we have to keep moving. No, we have to keep moving.
There we go, like that take. And this is still a little too hot. I don't want this much ambience. Pull that down just a bit.
Whoa, careful.
I can't do this.
No, we have to keep moving.
Can't do this.
Move that
We have
on.
to keep moving.
Can't do this.
No, we have to keep moving.
Alright, so we add that there. And then we get Mirage follows them down. And this is part of the reason I thought it'd be fun to do this scene, is because I really love Xander's performance in this. He's just delightful. No barking. I know you heard a bump. We're fine. We're fine. No, stop. You're fine. Xander is a darling. He's such a clown, and part of this is going to be how much is this is him actually recording lines versus how much of this is him riffing. Let's see.
Alright, so I've got on the page Mirage, oh, where are we going? Down to, look, I know what I said. It was personal last time, but that was before I got to know you two. Now, I promise I'm not that unreasonable, see?
Like that. My goodness, Harvey. You're fine, sweetie. You're fine.
Oh? Where are we going?
So basically, they're trying to run away from him, and so Ben's basically saying,
No, we have to keep moving.
Emma, we're just going to talk.
so, oh, and I was so mad he made me record this. I'm never doing this again because I could not keep track of his takes very well. He wanted to do like the whole page and then go back and do it again, and I can't keep track of stuff. So he does not get to do that. You do not get to do that again, Xander. If you see this, this is not happening again. We recorded episodes 6, 7, and 8 this way, and never again. I couldn't tell if I had the coverage I wanted, and I didn't have it on 6, and I was really upset about that. No, not really upset, just very frustrated. It was made things a lot more complicated.
Emma, we're just going to...
Okay, so
Oh? Where are we going? Oh? Where are we going?
okay, kind of like some of that, but that's not quite what I wanted. And I don't know how much more I have, depending on where these takes are.
Okay. Oh? Where are we going?
No, that's a little more. Yeah.
Emma, we're just going to talk. Oh? Where are we going?
Just curious what that'll sound like. Oh yeah, I did. I totally added the echo on purpose, and that's why. I'm gonna put that there for a minute.
Do this.
No, we have to keep moving.
And then he's gonna pop up. I'm gonna put him to the right a little bit. So
Can't do this.
No, we have to keep moving. To keep moving.
Oh? Where are we going?
I really love Gladys as a character. I usually my ex-boyfriend he got really mad at me because I used to do impersonations of the GPS when we drive places. So it would say turn left ahead, and then I'd go, or you could not turn left ahead. I see how this is. You won't listen to me. You think I'm worthless. And I just kind of riff on that, and he'd get really mad at me because he's like, I should not be attracted to my GPS. Stop it.
Where are we going? We're just going to... Just the two of us now. Emma, we're just... Where are we going? Where are we going?
I'm just curious if that take will work with that.
Where are we going? Oh? Where are we going?
Oh, that's not quite what I wanted.
No, we have to keep moving.
Oh? Where are we going?
Sorry, Emily, that's great. Thank you. Like, especially when the GPS would say, recalculating, or whatever. That's usually when I'd come in and be like, or come in and, oh goodness, it's been so long since I've done that. It was really funny. I just love that. You're just like your father.
We have to keep moving.
Oh? Where are we going?
Oh, and then there's also the fun part of Mirage's vocal effects, which we'll get to in just a moment. Yeah, that'll be another fun part. I'm gonna put a couple more on the track really quick first. Let's see. Ugh, Xander, I can't keep anything organized when you record this way. Why are you doing this? Okay, so where are we going? And so basically, I'll probably have just a little bit of an effect that kind of indicates he's kind of popping in there, just to help direct the focus towards that direction, and also just kind of give it a little bit of a feel that he's kind of materializing there with a little bit of a supernatural level of ability. It's not. It's not. It's just the way he uses them. But I kind of imagine him having a lot more of a fantastical use of his abilities than a more like very grounded scientific way. So that's part of what makes him really creepy, is he, like, the sound effects around him kind of indicate that there is something very off about him. And so I'll probably have that, but then that paired with his vocal effects, because depending on how much he's trying to intimidate a character or not, there's a certain level of vocal effect I'll put on his voice to really give it a nice amount of oomph. And so I'll probably be playing around with the amounts where at the beginning he's still trying, or the previous scene he's definitely trying to be intimidating, and you actually hear in his conversation with Ben where it almost comes off completely, but then when he's like, no, okay, never mind, we're gonna go blow some stuff up, and he's trying to be intimidating again, all of a sudden that vocal effect comes back in to really emphasize the more intimidating nature of what he's trying to portray. So that's kind of how I try to make that work anyway.
No.
And this is Emma just going, this is just not my night. She thought they literally just jumped out a window to get away from this guy, and he pops up like a second later. I mean, how utterly defeating is that?
Going.
No.
So she'll I'll put some like cloth effects to kind of indicate she's sagging down a little bit, maybe like a footstep stumble sort of a situation.
We going.
No.
Give that a little more time for that effect.
Going.
No.
And this is how my scripts tend to look too, is I usually write in the basic direction in parentheses before most of the lines. So that way, even though I'll be in the booth with the actors, sometimes it's a lot easier for them to scan it, and I don't have to spend as long explaining what's happening when we go through and actually do the read-throughs. And a lot of the actors are really good at basically coming in and taking a look at the script for the first time and working with it from there. So that's seems to work better for the workflow of most of the actors I'm working with. We don't rehearse ahead of time. They just come in and pretty much just go cold turkey into things. So she's like, no, not again.
Oh? Where are we going?
Okay, that's left over from that.
Where are we going? Oh? Where are we going?
Oh, I actually like that tape better. What was it?
Oh? Where are we going?
Oh, no, I like this.
Oh? Where are we going?
I actually kind of like that, a little more subdued like that.
Can't do this.
No, we have to keep moving.
Then,
Oh? Where are we going?
then Emma stumbles,
No.
and then he's going to take a step or two forward.
Emma, we're just going to talk. Emma, we're just going to talk.
And this is, so initially his read was a little bit subtler, so I want him to be a little more,
Emma, we're just going to talk.
okay, like
There. Just the two of us.
that. Okay. I think he could believably switch to that, because he's very
Oh? Where are we going?
No.
Emma, we're just going to talk.
Okay, yeah, I like that a little bit better, so he'll probably take a couple steps closer.
No.
Emma, we're just going to talk.
Alright, so that's good. Let's see. Ben is going to be threatening. So slide that over.
Sorry, that was really condescending. No, we have to keep moving. It says he's cut off mid-sentence, but this sounds like a full sentence. Because I told you to stay away from us sounds like a full sentence. Are you going to cut it? Okay.
Okay, so that's him clarifying for what my directions were in the script before reading that sentence.
Okay, but you need the full line. I told you to stay away from us. I told you to stay away from us.
Okay.
I told you to stay away from us.
And that is one of Bosco's strong points, is he is excellent when it comes to these really great, intense, kind of gritty lines. Oh, no problem, Emily. Thank you so much for joining. It was great having you. So,
We're just going to talk.
and then Ben's going to take a step or two forward. And I love you, friend. Whoops, I hit the mic. Love you, friend. I'm sorry my son is rude as hell and not showing up to say hello. He's in the back somewhere. Whenever he hides under the bed, which is his usual haunt, we call that his gremlining. And that's usually what he does when he's sulking. Oh, he's actually sulking at the foot of the bed instead. He can't be out in the living room barking at the neighbors, and I'm not holding him or snuggling with him. I've ruined his evening.
We're just going to talk.
I told you to stay away from us.
Okay, and then Ben's kind of marching closer and like, I'm gonna beat you up, man. Gonna beat you to a pulp. And then, except what's gonna happen is Mirage is gonna throw like this force field-ish thing, I want to say. Might be the best way to describe that. Up around them. See, between him and Emma. So basically, that's going to do some fun things to the audio. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a filter that all of a sudden cuts on right as Ben's talking. So it sounds like all of a sudden he's coming through like a bubble.
I told you to stay away from us.
Let's see, except it would help if I actually put that effect on in the first place.
I told you to stay away from...
Okay, that was too much.
Away from us.
There we go. A little bit more of that. Maybe.
I told you to stay away from us.
There we go.
Told you to stay away from us.
Yeah, I want that to be a little more. Go ahead. And so what I'm doing is just chopping off all the higher frequencies, so you're really just hearing the low stuff. This is a good way to create effects, like if you're hearing people through the walls, because only the low frequencies are the ones that are able to make it through. All the high frequencies get lost before they can make it that far. So that's a good rule of thumb.
I told you to stay away from us.
And I might pull that back a little bit more, because I really want it to be clear the difference between the two.
I told you to stay away from us.
And I'll probably throw up some kind of magical-ish sound effects, because that's Mirage's style. Is he's very flamboyant and he's all about the showmanship and everything. And I'm also going to go ahead and put a marker here so that I can basically apply the same thing to the ambience, because that's also going to need to have a similar effect. Because they're going to get cut off completely from, or not completely, but they're going to get cut off largely from what's going on around them. So I'm going to go ahead and try this.
You to stay away from us.
Okay, and that, by default, that's going to be on, so I'm putting the bypass on this to, oh, not that. I'm putting this on all of the ambient. Effects. Nope. Want that there. Then this like that. So that way.
We're just going to talk.
I told you to stay away from us.
And then we have that dramatic shift there.
Told you to stay away from us.
So that'll dramatically
I told you to stay away from us.
dramatically impact things. And I'll actually probably lower Ben's effect a little bit more to make him less indistinguishable, because he's going to be yelling on the opposite side of that barrier, and I don't want that to be too intrusive. So when he starts yelling, that'll be this bit here, I believe.
I know
Stay away
what
from
I
her.
said.
Mirage! Did he get pretty loud?
Yeah, okay, so that's him asking just how loud this is going to get. So he's going to be...
Stay away from her. Mirage! I'll kill you! Mirage!
And he's a champion yeller, bless him. So he's just going all out there. Go ahead and check on this, too. All right. See you, Mac. Thanks for popping in. I might wrap this up a little bit earlier, depending on how health-wise is doing. I took a bunch of Tylenol before I got in here, but I've been having some bad muscle spasms. So trying to hold things out, but I might have to end things a little bit on the, or maybe closer to 9:30 instead of 10 like I originally planned. Plus these poor puppies are sulking so much. They look so depressed. Should take a picture of... Are you depressed, buddy? He's looking at me like, come on, Mom. You can kind of see him here. I don't know how easy it is to make out my phone. In there, you can kind of see. He's just laying there, depressed. Again, ruining my life, Mom! Anyway. So, alright, I'm going to go ahead and for this...
Stay away from her.
What I'm going to do is, let's see, what is this? This is going to be the frequency. Well, no, I don't think I have to do that. I'll probably just change the volume on that, just so it's a little more muffled.
I told you to stay away from us. Stay away from her. Mirage! I'll kill you! Mirage!
Wow.
Stay away from her. Mirage! I'll kill you! Mirage!
And he's being very dramatic there. Move that over there. My goodness, what was that? Sneezes.
Stay away from us. Stay away from her.
So that'll be after we've had a second or two to process the change in ambient effects. So then Mirage is going to come up to Emma here.
There. Just the two of us now. Look, I know what I said. Look, I know that I...
Alright, that's the next line. Do I have any other variations of this I just want to be aware of?
Emma, we're just going to talk. Emma, we're just going to talk.
Oh, I got more variations of this.
No.
Emma, we're just going to talk. Emma, we're just going to talk. Emma, we're just going to talk.
See, I like... This is the thing with Xander. He gives me all these great takes, though. Sometimes can be a pain to get him in the format I want, but great, great actor.
No.
Emma, we're just going to talk.
You're doing with that.
Emma, we're just going to talk.
Okay, not like that. He's a little more patronizing there, which is how Mirage does.
There. Just the two of us now. There. Just the two of us, kiddo. Here, have an ice cream.
And then sometimes he riffs, so. Oh, thank you. Mark Holla. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name right, but thank you. I'm glad you're looking forward to the next episode. Also, again, too, I'll just add that if anyone has any questions, too, I'm happy to answer them.
There. Just the two of us now. Look, I know that I said it was personal last. There. Just the two of us now. There. Just the two of us now.
All right, I like that one. I think it's a little more natural and kind of the effect I'm going for, where he's actually very nonchalant about this. So he's like, Mirage, I'm going to kill you.
There. There. Just the two of us now.
All right, and Emma's like, really? Really? This is what we're doing? All right, let's get that over here. See what this sounds like.
Please, just leave me alone. Please, just leave me alone. Then what do you want?
Okay. Emma's noping out of this pretty hard right now, poor thing.
Just the two of us now.
Please, just leave me alone.
Let's see.
The two of us now.
Please, just leave me alone.
Look, I know that I said it was personal last time, but that was before I got to know. Before I got to know you. I promise, I'm not that unreasonable.
Okay, I like that take. I'm just gonna see what else I have to work with.
Just the. Well, yeah, no shit, get in my van. What, you think I just give out free ice cream to anyone? No, you owe me a vanning.
Oh gosh. So from the original version of this scene, Xander had a wonderful blooper where he kind of called out the very, very unrealistic situation that I had written, and some of his way of communicating that is making fun, but he basically said, oh, come on, Emma can't be falling for this, because originally he was like trying to convince her to work with him a little bit. It was a weird situation. And, but he's doing this in a way where he's very threatening her. And he's like, oh, come on, it's not going to be that bad. Don't worry about it. And he just, like, midline just stopped and was like, okay, she can't be falling for this, though. I'm literally going, Emma, I'm not creepy or weird at all. Just get in my van. It's raping time. I mean, candy time, which is one of the most ridiculous pieces of audio I have ever heard and still have somewhere, which is great because they're starting to actually get like famous now, and I have so much dirt on all of them. But anyway, so I was kind of laughing that, so he was kind of calling back to that and saying,
yeah, no shit, get in my van. What, you think I just give out free ice cream to anyone? No, you owe me a vanning.
Whatever that means. So I'm actually going to save that one because I like to save all the bloopers. I'm going to go ahead and do, let's see, I have an entire somewhere blooper folder. There we go. Eventually I'll make a blooper reel. So I just save that out. Then pop back over here.
All right, so I got up until his first line on the next page. Let's think for a second. Who?
And Xander does not have a way to work with his scripts very well, so he literally gets in and out of the booth to turn the pages on the or to scroll through the pages on his computer screen, which we all just kind of sigh and nod because that's how he does.
From you? I don't want anything.
Okay, so he only gave me one take of that line. Thankfully, it was a good one. How long does it take me to write an episode? Oh gosh. It depends on the episode. Some of them went a lot easier than others. Episode 3, I think, was probably the one that took me the longest because I was in the process of rebooting the series at that time, and I must have written and rewritten and rewritten and rewritten. Wrote that one so many times that I think that one took me well over a year and a half to polish to the point where I liked it. I've gotten to the point where I've realized I have to outline these episodes. The way I tend to design them and think about them is very much in the structure you might get for a comic book, where the you have to have like something that's very self-contained, but in that has a good narrative arc and flow, but that still works within the overall structure of the series or the season itself. So one of the ways I've had to do that is to use a lot of outlines and try to make sure that I'm very particular about, am I hitting enough high beats, enough low beats per episode. And so honestly, the outlining is usually something that takes a lot more time. And once I get that done, it's a lot easier to then sit down and write the episode. I'd probably say it takes, oh goodness, sorry. Don't mean to be making so many weird stomach noises. How long does it take to actually finish an episode? Sometimes around a month or so. I'm really picky though, and I probably take more time than I need to. But yeah, probably the condensed version is about, it's about a month. So if that answers your question anyway, I'm really weird and very meticulous about how I do this. This is not a good process. I need to not do that. This series is just kind of weird that way, and I'm trying to figure out ways to break some of the habits that cause that, because that's not a good workflow at all. Now, some of these scenes, though, like this one, once I have the idea for the scene, they usually do write themselves very quickly. It just sometimes, like, I'll go and write a scene, and then it'll take me like a week to come back and get into it enough that I can hit the next scene. That's more usually the problem than it actually taking like, every night I'm sitting down for 2 hours and looking at the script. It's literally just I need to find a period of time where I'm, where I can focus on it enough to get back into that mentality and dive back in. So part of the issue has been scheduling around other projects I'm working on. Mac just left. He might be popping back in, but he's been helping me co-write a novel. So that's been one of the major time sucks in terms of my writing availability that has eaten into Elysium production a little bit. Not awfully, though. And we're about ready to have that sent off to the agent, and as soon as that's done, then I will give myself permission to look at season 2. Fortunately, season 1 of Elysium, which is only this episode 7, and then another episode, number 8, those are already written and pretty much completely recorded. So those are ready to go otherwise. So if nothing else, the production really is the part that takes the longest, and that's mostly me trying to find more than 30-minute chunks to sit down, because it does take a while and it can be very involved to get into this.
Then what do you want?
So go ahead and put that there.
Please just leave me alone.
Look, I know that I said it was personal last time, but that was before I got to know you. I promise, I'm not that unreasonable.
Then what do you want?
All right. There we go.
Not that unreasonable.
Then what do you want?
So we get that.
From you? I don't want anything from you. We're just killing time until your rescue shows up.
Okay, I like that take. Just see what else I got.
Oh, I'm not.
And again, he recorded this weird, so it is very frustrating to find what I'm looking for. And actually, I think I don't have anything else from Ben on this one.
I didn't understand you were talking. From you? I don't want anything from you. We're just killing time until your rescue shows up.
Okay, I like that other one better.
Look, I know that I said it was personal last time. But that was before I got to know you. I promise, I'm not that unreasonable.
Then what do you want?
From you?
Then what do you want?
From you? I don't want anything from you. We're just killing time until your rescue shows up.
Alright. Go ahead and take a look at what we got next.
You mean Ian? You mean Ian?
So I think she's not. I think I had her do that one again.
You mean
Ding ding.
Ian? You mean Ian? You mean Ian?
Alright, I think that one sounds more like what I want.
We're just killing time until your rescue shows up.
One of the things I learned mixing too, especially the more I did this, was that it's really important to try not to have all your dialogue up on top, right up next to each other, especially if you are recording actors separately. You get kind of a natural pacing or spacing if you have them together in the same room. But if you don't, and you're kind of having to simulate that yourself in the editing process like I'm doing now, a lot of times actually giving a little extra pause than you initially would think is really helpful. And I try to go back and listen to chunks of stuff at a time to make sure that I'm not pushing things together too closely, because your natural inclination is, okay, he stops talking here, for example, so I want to put the next line of dialogue pretty much right up there. And you have to be mindful that you're trying to create those natural pauses for them to have enough time to process what the other person said and react to it. Now, if they're, yelling at each other and things are a lot more fast-paced, that's a different story. But for the most part, if you can give it a little bit of extra time, it's actually very helpful for the audience, especially, to be able to process what's going on in the scene.
Until your rescue shows up.
You mean Ian?
So that sounds a little awkward there, but...
Until your rescue shows up.
You mean Ian?
But it helps, especially when things are moving a lot more fast-paced towards the beginning, when all of a sudden you get these quiet moments, giving them the chance to, kind of sit there. And you can
shows up.
almost pause after he says that and see her kind of squinting and realizing what he's saying. Kind of.
You mean Ian?
Kind of like that. So that's usually my rule of thumb with that is... I sit here and try to make the facial expressions along with them to try to figure out, would they pause or, would it be ideal for them to pause before they say something, or can I imagine them making a face or gesturing or something before they actually say what they're saying?
Ian?
Ding ding.
That one's a little closer up.
Ian?
Ding ding.
That's fun. All right, so... Ding ding. So he's just nice and chipper about that.
You mean... Oh, sure. You mean Ian?
Okay, now it's an extra take.
Ding ding.
You're just trying to get them? You're just trying to get them.
I like that one better. Let's see. What else I have?
You're just trying to get them? You're just trying to get them.
Higher ups are.
Bastios.
Okay.
You're just trying to get them.
Which one do I like?
You're just trying to get them? You're...
I think that one has the kind of inflection I'm looking for.
Ian?
Ding ding. Ding ding.
You're just trying...
I'll give her another minute to think a second.
Yeah.
You're just trying to get them?
Alright.
Oh, I'm not. The higher-ups are. They like having their toys where they can play with them. You're catching... He's your little...
Let's see.
Yeah, so you don't say keep your... Yeah, like you hide your... if you want to use... I didn't understand you were talking about poker. Sorry, I don't mean to be like a nitpicky douche. Just realized that sounded really condescending. And like, I was like, no.
Okay. Oh, I do have a lot more. I was like, I feel like this file should be a lot longer. Where's the rest of it? Oh, thank you so much for the comment, though. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's definitely a process. I kind of put myself into a corner where I was like, oh, I could put the absolute most ridiculous amount of work into this, and that's totally fine, instead of starting with something a little more simple or reasonable, you know, as one does. But here we are.
Okay. And I won't tell if you don't.
I think he moves ahead. Ugh.
Didn't understand you were... Shh. Yeah, so you don't say keep... Yeah, keep that part of your hand quiet?
Oh, that's what he was talking about. I was like, what is he complaining about there?
Oh, I'm not. The higher-ups are. They like having their toys where they can play with them.
So there's that line.
You're just trying to get that. You mean, like Bastios? You mean, like Bastios?
Excuse me. I had the stomach flu last week, and I think my stomach is still not really thrilled with me, so I apologize for all the weird noises in the meantime.
Where they can play with them.
You mean, like Bastios? Like Bastios?
You're catching on.
There we go. I am really excited for where this series is going with these two characters. They ended up with a much different relationship than I thought they would. By relationship, I just mean the dynamic between the two of them is very different than I expected, but I'm really happy with how that's played out. I've got season 2 outlined now, and just the way that ended up coming together, I did not think these characters would be interacting as much as they do, and the dynamic that kind of comes together is really, really fun. So I am looking forward to writing season 2 as soon as I get this novel polished up, because I've owed that to Mac for a while.
On.
I'm trying to. Can you tell me who Ben is? I'm trying to. Can you tell me who Ben is? Can you tell me who Ben is?
Let's see.
Can you tell me who Ben is?
All right, and then this is the big thing that Emma's trying to, figure out. It's a little hot, and pull that back.
I'm trying to.
On.
I'm trying to. Can you tell me who Ben is?
On.
I'm trying to. Can you tell me who Ben is? I'm trying to.
Okay, I did have her do some more with that.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Can you tell me who Ben is? I'm trying to. Can you tell me who Ben is?
Okay, I don't know if I want that to be that dramatic.
I'm trying to. Can you tell me who Ben is?
All right. And I think that's about as far as I was going to get in this scene for this particular stream. I think I'm going to need to probably call it quits here. Unfortunately, my stamina is not holding up. That's the other thing is I have a chronic illness called fibromyalgia, so that's the other thing that makes it a little bit difficult to work on this, is because there's a lot of times I'm like, I'm going to get home and work on this, and then my body's like, no, guess what? Everything hurts and you're going to die, so you're in bed for the rest of the night. Have fun with that. And it's really frustrating, too, when you're that wiped out. It's too difficult. Like, I'd love to be able, you know, if it was just, like, my legs hurting or something like that, I could still focus on, you know, writing or at least working ahead on stuff. But it's, like, full body, and it basically is, like, inflammation everywhere. And so there's usually a lot of pressure on, like, my neck and my shoulders and my head and everything. So I get migraines really easily. Like, I pretty much walk around with a low-grade migraine at all times. And then, so that can become that can be really frustrating, because I'll be laying in bed and I end up, you know, just basically having to watch TV or something like that, and just thinking, oh, I have this free time, I could be working. I'm also a workaholic. That helps nothing. And so my thought is, oh, I could be working. Wouldn't it be great if I was working? And I can't. So that's an interesting limitation that also does factor into the production time here. And I've put myself in a pretty deep hole with how the production of this goes, that it's not really easy to just be able to hand this over to anyone at any time. So anyways, I really appreciate you guys. Oh goodness, I probably need to go eat something. That's why my stomach's making noises. But I really do appreciate you guys, those of you who came in and out. I think we got like 10-ish people overall over the course of things, and it really means a lot to me that you guys are interested and willing to hear me talk. So thank you so much. If you guys have any questions at all, feel free to field them via my Twitter, or via the show's Twitter, Facebook, even this channel at any time. I'm happy to try to type that up as I'm able. And if you enjoyed this, oh goodness, boys, all done. I'll let you out in a minute, I promise. But yeah, if you have any questions or want me to do this again, definitely let me know. So thank you so much again, and hopefully I'll see you again. Oh goodness, I'm just making all kinds of noises in the meantime. Alright, I'll catch you guys later.